All right, today we're talking about something called ColorAgent. It's a really cool look into what the next brain for your phone could be, and honestly, it might completely change what you expect from your digital assistant. So, let's kick things off with a question. You ever feel like your smart assistant isn't all that smart? I mean, you ask it to do something that seems pretty simple and it just falls flat, you know? You end up having to spell everything out in these tiny little baby steps, and it has absolutely no memory of what you just said 2 minutes ago. It's super frustrating, and that frustration is exactly what researchers are digging into. And really, this gets to the absolute core of the issue. It's a totally different way of thinking about AI. Right now, what we have are basically just passive task executors. You tell it what to do, it does it. That's it. But the future, what ColorAgent is aiming for, is an interactive partner. Think about that. Something that actually gets the context, learns your habits, and works with you to get things done. So, okay, if we want to build that awesome future, we first have to figure out what's broken right now. Why do today's AI agents fail so often? Especially when you ask for something that's just a little bit more complex than, set a timer for 10 minutes. Let's break down the real reasons. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The researchers looked at exactly why these single-agent systems fail, and the results are pretty eye-opening. A huge chunk, 30%, is because of limited generalization. What that means is the AI is just fragile. Like, if a button on an app moves just a little bit, the whole thing breaks. It's completely lost. Then you've got another 25%, a whole quarter, from inconsistency and no memory. This is the one where the AI literally forgets what you said in step 1 by the time it gets to step 5. And another big piece, 20%, is difficulty in error recovery. It makes one tiny mistake and just gets stuck, spinning its wheels with no idea how to fix it. So these are the big problems that ColorAgent is built to solve. So the big question is, how do we get past all that? The big idea here is something called an OS agent. And note, this isn't just another app you download. This is a kind of deep intelligence that's literally woven right into the fabric of your phone's operating system. And the key phrase you gotta remember is warm, collaborative partner. We're moving away from a cold, lifeless tool. The whole point of this OS agent is to understand what you actually want, to adapt to how you do things, and, this is huge, to actually ask you a question to clarify something instead of just guessing and messing it all up. All right, so that's the dream. But how did they actually build this thing? How do you make a smarter brain for a phone? Well, the design of ColorAgent really boils down to two main ideas that are working in tandem. The best way to think about it is like training a superstar athlete. First up, you've got the workout. This is a two-part training regimen. The AI first learns all the basic moves through trial and error. That's the process called reinforcement learning. But then it starts creating its own practice drills, its own complex plays to just keep improving. It's wild. Then part 2 is the specialist team. See, instead of having one AI that's a jack of all trades, ColorAgent has a whole team of specialized AIs that work together, almost like a sports team where everyone has a specific position. First on the team, you've got the project manager. The techie term for it is the task orchestrator. This is the coach, the quarterback. Its whole job is to take a big, complicated request like, find me the cheapest flight to Paris and book it, and break it down into simple, manageable steps. It's the one looking at the whole field. Next up is the librarian, or the knowledge retrieval agent. This is basically the team's brain, its long-term memory. It can look back at everything you've done before to figure out what you like, or it can check a whole database of how to do common things. And this right here is how you fix that limited generalization problem we talked about. It gives the AI the context it needs to not be so fragile. And last but not least, you've got the inspector. The official name is hierarchical reflection, but think of it as the team's referee or quality control expert. It's watching every single move. If one of the other agents messes up, clicks the wrong thing, or gets stuck, the inspector blows the whistle, figures out what went wrong, and tells the team exactly how to fix it. This is what makes the whole system so tough and resilient. Okay, so the theory sounds great, but let's see how this team actually works in the real world. And the researchers gave us a perfect, everyday example, ordering a coffee. It all kicks off with a super simple request from the user. It seems easy on the surface, right? But there are all these little hidden details that a normal, basic assistant would just totally miss. All right, so the first move. The project manager, the team captain, realizes, okay, this is an ordering food task. It immediately checks with the librarian, who knows that this user always orders food using the Meituan app.
So step 1 is easy. Click and open that specific app. But wait, this is where it gets really smart. The librarian scans the user's order history and finds this hidden clue. This person almost always orders iced coffee. A regular assistant, it would have just blindly ordered a hot Americano, no questions asked. And here it is. This is that whole interactive partner idea in action. Instead of just making an assumption, the agent sees there's a little bit of wiggle room. Maybe the user sometimes orders lattes. So it stops. It actually engages with you and asks a simple question to make absolutely sure it gets the order perfect.
And boom, mission accomplished. By bringing together that smart planning, the personal memory, and the willingness to just ask a question, the agent didn't just complete a task. No, it figured out the user's real intent and got them an iced Americano just how they like it.
Okay, that coffee example is awesome, but it's just one example. How does the system actually hold up when you really test it? What's the real-world impact?
Well, the numbers don't lie. They tested this on a really tough benchmark called Android World, which throws all kinds of complex tasks at these AIs across multiple apps. The previous best-in-class model scored a 73.3% success rate. ColorAgent, with its team of specialists, boosted that all the way up to 77.2%. Now, that might not sound like a huge jump, but trust me, in the world of AI, that is a big deal.
And let's just let that number sink in for a second. 77.2%. That is a new state of the art. It's basically proof that this whole idea, building a team of AIs that work together, is just flat out better at handling the messy, chaotic world of our phone apps than one single AI trying to do everything on its own. So what's the bottom line? What should you take away from all this? Well, ColorAgent is more robust because that inspector agent can fix mistakes. It's more personal, thanks to the librarian remembering what you like, and it's more interactive because it knows when it's better to just ask a question. And all of that together leads us right back to where we started, shifting from a dumb tool to a true partner. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. If your phone was actually this smart, if it was a true partner that understood you, your habits, your goals, and could just flawlessly handle whatever complex thing you threw it at it, what would be the very first thing you'd ask it to do?